Before the Aztecs raised their eagle banners, before Maya kings carved their names into stone, there was another people, older, stranger, wrapped in mystery. They lived in a land where rivers carved twisting paths through jungles and swamps, where the air was thick with heat and buzzing with life. Crocodiles glided through murky waters. Jaguars prowled in the shadows. Hurricanes and floods threatened to wipe out villages in a single season. It was a land as dangerous as it was fertile. And yet, from this harsh lowland of present-day Veracruz and Tabasco, something extraordinary was born. A civilization unlike anything the Americas had ever seen. To the Aztecs and the Maya, who came centuries later, their gods and symbols felt like echoes of an older world. Archaeologists today call them the Olmecs, the mother civilization of Mesoamerica. The story begins around 1500 BCE. Across the Gulf Coast, farming villages dotted the waterlands, their survival tied to maize, beans, and squash. Families lived in modest homes of wood and thatch, hunting deer and fishing in rivers to supplement their crops. But among them, one culture was not content with simple sustenance. They organized, they innovated, and from these scattered villages, the Olmecs built their first great city of the Americas, San Lorenzo. San Lorenzo was no ordinary settlement. It was a city reshaped by human ambition. The Olmecs carved terraces into the earth and redirected rivers to control water. They built a drainage system so advanced it would not be matched for centuries. Canals and stone basins suggest a society that not only engineered its environment but also ritualized it, turning water into a symbol of cosmic power. At its heart stood ceremonial platforms where rules proclaimed their dominance. The air would have been filled with incense smoke, drums, and chants of priests. This was not just a place to live. It was a stage upon which power and divinity were performed. And surrounding it, silent and eternal, were the colossal heads. Carved from volcanic basalt, each head weighed up to 40 tons. To move them, the Olmecs dragged the stones over 60 miles of rivers and jungle, without wheels, without beasts of burden. Only human hands, ropes, and determination. Each head bore an individual face, lips pursed, eyes focused, helmets strapped across their brows. They were not gods. They were rulers, immortalized in stone. Imagine standing before them, their immense features looming above, as if the rulers themselves still watched over their people long after death. The colossal heads were more than monuments. They were declarations, proof that power had shifted in Mesoamerica. For the first time, rulers were not simply chiefs of villages. They were kings, dynastic rulers who linked themselves to gods, war, and cosmic order. San Lorenzo was a laboratory of ideas. Here, the Olmecs invented something that would shape Mesoamerica forever: the fusion of kingship and the divine. Here in Mesoamerica, a king was not just a ruler. He was a bridge between humanity and the gods. His image, carved in stone, was legitimacy itself. His rituals fed not only his people, but the universe. And the gods of the Olmecs were everywhere, etched in jade, carved in stone, painted on pottery. The most enigmatic was the Were-Jaguar, a half-human, half-beast figure. With its downturned mouth and fierce features, it embodied the rainforest's untamed force. To the Olmecs, the jaguar was rain, fertility, and kingship all at once. Other symbols echoed through the centuries: maize stalks, serpents, feathered creatures, and masks that blurred the lines between man and god. These images did not die with the Olmecs. They became the sacred vocabulary of Mesoamerica. But the Olmecs gave more than art and religion. They have pioneered writing itself. The Cascajal block, discovered in 2006, is a slab carved with symbols unlike anything else from the era. Some see it as the earliest evidence of written language in the Americas. While the meaning remains undeciphered, it suggests that the Olmecs were experimenting with recording thought itself. Alongside writing, they may have devised the first sacred calendar. Later Mesoamerican cultures followed a 260-day ritual calendar used to align agriculture, ritual, and cosmic events. Some scholars trace it back to the Olmecs. And then there was the Ballgame. Played with heavy rubber balls and stone courts, the game was more than sport. It was a ritual tied to life, death, and cosmic balance. Winners and losers may have been sacrificed, their blood sealing the covenant between man and gods. Archaeological finds suggest the Olmecs were the first to play this deadly sacred game. The Olmecs were not just city builders, they were culture builders. They invented the very DNA of Mesoamerican civilization. However, greatness does not last forever. The Gulf Coast was rich but volatile. Rivers shifted course, sometimes wiping out farmland overnight. Floods swallowed villages. Hurricanes swept across the coast. By 900 BCE, San Lorenzo fell. Its colossal heads were toppled, its monuments mutilated, its platforms abandoned. Why? Perhaps rival powers rose against it, toppling its kings. Or perhaps hunger and rebellion tore its society apart. Some believe its own people turned against the elite, burying the colossal heads as act of defiance. Whatever the cause, the first great city of the Americas collapsed. But the Olmecs were not finished. From the swamps rose a second capital, Venta. Venta was built on an island rising out of wetlands, and it became both a spiritual and political heart. At its center stood a massive clay pyramid over 100 feet tall, the first pyramid in the Americas. Around it were ceremonial plazas and offering sites where rulers buried mosaics of jade and serpentine, carefully arranged and then sealed beneath layers of earth. But why bury such treasures? Perhaps it was to renew cosmic contracts with gods, or perhaps it was to ensure fertility and rainfall. Whatever the reason was, it revealed a culture obsessed not with wealth but with sacrifice, with giving back to the earth what was most precious. The colossal heads returned here too. New rulers had their faces carved in stone, their helmets strapped, their gazes fixed on eternity. Kingship had not died with San Lorenzo, it had been reborn. For centuries, Venta thrived. Its influence stretched across Mesoamerica, spreading its god, art, and rituals outward like ripples in a pond. And then by 400 BCE, Venta collapsed as well. Its monuments were smashed, its temples deserted, its people dispersed. No epic inscriptions tell us why. No written histories preserve the reasons. Some believe shifting rivers and ecological disaster undermined the city. Others see signs of violent conflict, perhaps between rival elites. And there is another possibility, that the Olmecs never truly disappeared. Instead, they dissolved into neighboring cultures, their ideas spreading outward, living on in the civilizations that followed. Wherever the truth may lay, their legacy cannot be denied. Centuries later, the Maya built temples to gods that bore Olmec features. The Aztecs inscribed codices filled with Olmec symbols. The Ballgame spread across Central America, carrying with it rituals of sacrifice and cosmic renewal. Later civilizations looked back at the Gulf of Coast as a sacred place of origins, the land where divine order first took shape. Even today, the colossal heads remain. Their stony eyes watch jungles and fields in silence, their lips pressed in eternal mystery. They are not just works of art. They are the faces of forgotten kings, staring across 3,000 years of history. The Olmecs were the beginning, the source, the mother civilization of Mesoamerica. And yet, one question endures. Who exactly were the Olmecs? Were they visionaries who created civilization from nothing, or inheritors of an even older tradition lost to time? Their monuments stand as guardians of that secret, silent, immovable, waiting for us to listen.